The Galactic Assembly, a bastion of peace and order for millennia, prided itself on its ability to manage crises with meticulous precision. From rogue AI uprisings to collapsing stars, the Assembly had protocols for every imaginable catastrophe. But nothing had prepared them for humanity. Humans, newcomers to the galactic stage, had an unorthodox way of handling problems. They didn't rely solely on advanced calculations or centuries of tradition. Instead, they improvised, wildly, recklessly, and often with alarming results. The first major example of this came during an otherwise routine asteroid mining operation near the Zorathian Nebula, a region of space rich in uncharted mineral resources. The SS Venture, a human mining vessel, was conducting surveys on a cluster of asteroids when their scanners picked up something unusual: a glowing, pulsating vein of material embedded deep within an asteroid's core. Initial readings identified the mineral as an unknown isotope, radiating energy at levels that made even seasoned scientists uneasy. To the rest of the galaxy, such a discovery would have prompted immediate cessation of all activity until experts could assess the risk. But this wasn't how humans operated. Captain James "Jimmy" Carson, the brash yet brilliant leader of the venture, saw the find as a challenge. He was a man who thrived on adrenaline, a quality admired by his crew but feared by everyone else. While his Zorathian co-pilot, Rilzak, urged caution, Carson was already sketching plans for extraction on the back of a sandwich wrapper. "Jimmy," Rilzak said, his blue-scaled face creased with worry, "that mineral is giving off unstable energy signatures. One wrong move, and we could detonate the entire asteroid belt." Carson grinned, his rugged face alight with excitement. "Relax, Ril. It's nothing we can't handle. Now, hold my beer." The phrase meant little to Rilzak at the time, but it would soon become infamous across the galaxy. Carson handed his beverage, a fizzy, amber liquid that humans seemed to treat as both a recreational drink and a badge of honor, to his bewildered co-pilot before diving into the operation with a confidence bordering on hubris. The extraction, armed with little more than a plasma torch, a roll of duct tape, and a repurposed barbecue grill he had modified into an energy stabilizer, Carson descended into the asteroid's cavernous interior. His crew, a mix of humans and other species, watched nervously as he approached the volatile mineral. The glow intensified with each step, casting eerie shadows on the jagged walls. "This is insane," muttered Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's science officer. "That thing could blow us all to kingdom come." "Jimmy doesn't do insane," replied First Mate Hal Murphy, leaning casually against a console. "He does innovative." Carson's plan was as audacious as it was reckless. Using the makeshift stabilizer, he intended to isolate the mineral's energy field long enough to carve out a sample. The process required split-second timing, an absurd amount of luck, and, according to Vasquez, the complete suspension of self-preservation instincts. As he worked, the mineral began to hum, its vibrations growing stronger. Rilzak, monitoring the energy readings from the surface, shouted over the comms, "Captain, the output's spiking. Get out of there." "Not yet," Carson replied, his voice calm. "Just need a little more time." The hum escalated to a deafening roar. The asteroid began to shake, and fractures spiderwebbed across its surface. Crew members scrambled to their stations, preparing for the worst. Just as the energy levels peaked, Carson gave a triumphant shout. "Got it," he yelled, holding up a chunk of the mineral encased in a containment field. He sprinted back to the ship as the asteroid began to collapse. The Venture barely escaped the ensuing explosion, the shockwave propelling them into the safety of open space. The aftermath, the mineral, later named Carsonite, turned out to be a scientific marvel. It had the potential to revolutionize interstellar propulsion, providing a near-limitless source of energy. Researchers across the galaxy flocked to the Zorathian Nebula to study it, transforming the once quiet region into a bustling hub of innovation. The Galactic Assembly, however, was less enthused. When news of the incident reached their chambers, It sparked a heated debate. Carson's actions had resulted in significant progress, but the risk involved was deemed unacceptable. A 98% chance of detonating the entire asteroid field was not a gamble any rational species would take. Humans are reckless, declared Counselor Varnix of the Grintari. This Carson fellow treated a galactic threat like a weekend hobby. They're not reckless, countered Counselor Tilvar of the Ilverin. They're creatively unhinged. The Assembly ultimately decided to categorize the phrase, "hold my beer," as a level 5 warning, signifying imminent human-induced chaos. A formal directive was issued to all member species. Any mention of the phrase in proximity to humans was to be treated as a potential crisis. Legacy of the incident. For humanity, the incident cemented their reputation as a wild card among the stars. They were innovators and risk-takers, willing to push boundaries in ways that other species found both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The term Carsonite reactor became synonymous with cutting-edge technology, but its origins remained a cautionary tale. As for Captain Carson, he was unapologetic. When questioned by Assembly officials during a debriefing, he simply shrugged. Sometimes, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. The phrase baffled the translators, but its sentiment was clear. To humans, progress often required boldness, even if that boldness occasionally teetered on the edge of lunacy. The Zarathian Nebula incident was only the beginning. Humanity's unique approach to problem-solving would go on to reshape the galaxy in ways no one could have foreseen. But for those who witnessed Carson's audacious act firsthand, one thing became abundantly clear. When a human said, "hold my beer," it was time to brace for the extraordinary. The Galactic Assembly had survived countless crises in its millennia-long history, but none had ever been as potentially devastating or as baffling as the Betamax incident. It began as many galactic disasters do, with an unwitting species poking a metaphorical hornet's nest. In this case, the nest in question was an ancient repository of forgotten technology in the Andanax expanse. The repository was a relic of the Chtholian Empire, a civilization long extinct but infamous for its experiments with self-replicating technology. Among their most dangerous creations was the Betamax Swarm, a sentient, shape-shifting nanobot collective capable of consuming and replicating any matter it encountered. After a devastating uprising millennia ago, the Chtholians had deactivated the swarm and locked it away. Their instructions to future generations were clear: leave it alone. Naturally, those instructions were ignored. The Awakening, a salvage ship belonging to the Venari Trade Coalition, stumbled upon the Chtholian repository while searching for scrap. Unaware of the danger, the crew dismantled the containment field, inadvertently reactivating the swarm. Within hours, the Betamax swarm consumed their ship, multiplying exponentially and adapting to every attempt to stop it. By the time the Galactic Assembly was alerted, the swarm had already devoured an entire moon and was expanding rapidly. Traditional countermeasures, plasma bombardments, quantum destabilizers, even containment fields, proved ineffective. The swarm was too adaptable, too relentless. An emergency summit was called. Delegates from every major species gathered in the assembly chamber, their voices a cacophony of panic. "This is an extinction-level event," shouted Counselor Zolan of the Trivian Collective, his tendrils quivering. "The swarm will consume everything in its path. We must act swiftly," added Counselor Varnix of the Grintari. "Deploy the antimatter reserves. Sacrifice the affected systems if we must." The room fell silent when a human representative, Dr. Samantha Patel, rose to speak. Known for her sharp intellect and even sharper wit, Patel had earned a reputation as one of humanity's most brilliant engineers. She adjusted her glasses and addressed the assembly. "With all due respect, you're overthinking this," she said. "Have you tried turning it off and on again? The human plan." Patel's suggestion was met with incredulous stares. The Betamax swarm was a galaxy-spanning threat, not a malfunctioning datapad. Yet, Patel remained undeterred. She explained that, based on the Chtholian records, The swarm's programming included a factory reset function buried deep in its code. Activating it required broadcasting a specific sequence of electromagnetic pulses at precisely the right frequencies. "That's impossible," exclaimed Counselor Tilvar of the Ilverin. "Even if such a sequence exists, the swarm's adaptive nature would block the signal before it could take effect." "Not if we distract it," Patel countered. "We just need to give it something else to focus on." Her plan was both ingenious and absurd. She proposed constructing a massive decoy signal, a chaotic, nonsensical data stream designed to overload the swarm's processing capabilities. While the swarm was occupied, they would transmit the reset sequence using a jury-rigged array of repurposed communications equipment. When asked how she intended to create such a distraction, Patel uttered the now legendary words, "Hold my beer." The execution. Patel immediately took charge, assembling a team of human engineers, technicians, and a few brave volunteers from other species. The centerpiece of her plan was a salvaged karaoke machine from the SS Venture's recreational quarters, which she modified to broadcast on multiple frequencies simultaneously. She dubbed the device the Distractomatic 3000. Her team worked tirelessly, constructing an array of makeshift transmitters using scrap metal, old hollow displays, and what appeared to be a collection of Earth novelty items. When asked why she had attached a glowing disco ball to the array, Patel replied, "Style points." As the deadline loomed, tension ran high. The swarm had already consumed 2 more planets, and its expansion showed no signs of slowing. Assembly leaders pleaded with Patel to reconsider, but she remained steadfast. "This will work," she assured them, "or it'll blow up in our faces. Either way, we'll know soon enough." When the moment came, Patel stood before the control panel, her hand hovering over the activation switch. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. "Here goes nothing," she said, pressing the button. The outcome, the Distractomatic 3000 sprang to life, broadcasting a cacophony of sound and light. Earth music, everything from 1980s pop to heavy metal, blared across the void, accompanied by swirling holograms of dancing humans. The swarm, drawn to the chaotic signal, began diverting its resources to analyze the data. Meanwhile, Patel's team initiated the reset sequence. The broadcast included fragments of Earth programming, children's cartoons, sitcom laugh tracks, and snippets of something called reality TV, all designed to overload the swarm's adaptive algorithms. The tactic worked. For the first time since its reactivation, the swarm faltered. "Signal is holding," reported Vasquez, monitoring the readings. "Reset sequence is transmitting. Now." The swarm froze mid-replication. Its nanobots shimmered, then collapsed into inert gray dust. Patel's gamble had paid off. The aftermath. The galaxy celebrated humanity's ingenuity, but the incident left the assembly shaken. Patel's success had come dangerously close to failure. A single miscalculation could have led to unimaginable destruction. In the days that followed, the assembly passed a resolution declaring that any human uttering the phrase, "Hold my beer," would trigger an automatic Level 7 threat alert. Patel, for her part, remained unapologetic. When asked how she had stayed so calm under pressure, she simply shrugged. "Chaos is just opportunity in disguise," she said. The Betamax incident solidified humanity's reputation as the galaxy's most unpredictable species. Their unconventional methods, while terrifying, had proven time and again that they could achieve the impossible. For better or worse, the phrase "hold my beer" had become a symbol of humanity's audacious approach to problem-solving. Legacy of the Betamax incident. Years later, the Distractomatic 3000 was enshrined in the Galactic Museum of Innovation, a testament to human ingenuity and recklessness. The Betamax swarm became a cautionary tale, its remnants sealed away under stricter security protocols. And Dr. Samantha Patel? She returned to Earth a hero, her name forever etched into galactic history. When asked during a televised interview if she had any regrets, she laughed. The Galactic Assembly often hosted cultural exchange events, believing they strengthened bonds among its 1,000-member species. One of the most popular of these was the Great Pan-Galactic Bake-Off, an annual celebration of culinary artistry from across the galaxy. Representatives would present dishes reflecting their cultural traditions, a friendly competition to foster goodwill and appreciation of diversity. In its 87th year, the Bake-Off promised to be the grandest yet, with representatives from every major civilization vying for the coveted Celestial Spatula Trophy. Among the contestants was a human chef, Marcus O'Hara, a wild-card entry whose reputation for flamboyant risk-taking had earned him equal parts admiration and apprehension. O'Hara's gamble. The Bake-Off's rules were simple. Participants had to prepare their dishes live, with judges evaluating flavor, presentation, and cultural significance. Most contestants relied on time-tested recipes passed down through generations. O'Hara, however, had a different approach. "Why play it safe?" he said during a pre-event interview. "If you're not pushing boundaries, what's the point?" His chosen ingredient was ignis fruit, a rare delicacy from the volcanic planet Volcara. Renowned for its unique flavor, the fruit was also infamous for its explosive properties. Even the slightest misstep in preparation could trigger a fiery detonation capable of leveling a small city. Most chefs considered it too dangerous to use, but O'Hara saw it as the ultimate challenge. When asked if he was confident about handling the volatile fruit, he grinned and uttered the phrase that would send shockwaves across the galaxy. "Hold my beer." The preparation. As the bake-off began, contestants unveiled their creations. The Ilverin representative presented a shimmering gelatinous cube infused with stardust. The Grentari chef offered a symphony of flavors in a dish resembling a living tapestry. The judges marveled at the artistry and precision on display. Then it was O'Hara's turn. He approached his workstation with swagger, rolling up his sleeves and setting down a small cooler marked with biohazard warnings. The audience gasped as he revealed the ignis fruit, its fiery core pulsating with barely contained energy. Even the judges, seasoned veterans of galactic cuisine, recoiled slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen," O'Hara announced, "I present to you the Galactic Inferno." The plan was audacious. A flaming souffle incorporating the ignis fruit, served with a side of caramelized stardust. The dish required precision timing and exact temperature control, as any deviation could result in disaster. O'Hara worked with the intensity of a mad artist, his every movement a blend of chaos and mastery. The chaos unfolds. As O'Hara began slicing the ignis fruit, the tension in the room was palpable. Each cut sent tiny sparks into the air, eliciting gasps from the audience. Judges exchanged nervous glances, their trust in the event's safety protocols wavering. "Ignis fruit is stable if you respect it," O'Hara said, his voice calm. "And if you don't, well." A sharp crack interrupted him as one of the fruit's cores emitted a loud pop. The room collectively flinched, but O'Hara remained unfazed. He quickly tossed the volatile piece into a cryo chamber, giving the judges a wink. "It's all part of the show." The souffle base was next. O'Hara whisked the ingredients with theatrical flair, occasionally flipping utensils into the air. He adjusted the oven's temperature with the precision of a starship pilot navigating an asteroid field. The audience leaned forward in their seats, torn between awe and the urge to dive for cover. Finally, it was time for the piece de resistance. Igniting the souffle, O'Hara poured a flaming liquid over the dish, creating a dramatic cascade of fire. The flames roared higher than anticipated, briefly engulfing the workstation. Security droids moved to intervene, but O'Hara waved them off. "I've got this," he shouted, grabbing a fire suppression wand and taming the blaze with a flourish. The aftermath. When the flames subsided, O'Hara unveiled the Galactic Inferno. The souffle glowed with a soft golden light, its surface shimmering like a molten sun. The aroma was intoxicating, a blend of sweet, spicy, and smoky notes that captivated the judges. Tentatively, they took their first bites. Silence fell over the room as the judges savored the dish. Then, one by one, they erupted into applause. The flavor was unlike anything they had ever experienced, a perfect harmony of heat and sweetness, with a depth that seemed to transcend taste itself. O'Hara's Galactic Inferno was declared the winner, earning him the Celestial Spatula Trophy. However, the victory came at a cost. The flames had scorched half the venue, leaving a trail of melted flooring and singed decorations. 3 audience members required medical attention for mild smoke inhalation, and the event's insurance premium skyrocketed overnight. The assembly's response. News of the incident spread quickly, sparking heated debates within the Galactic Assembly. While many applauded O'Hara's culinary genius, others condemned his recklessness. "This is a flagrant disregard for safety protocols," fumed Counselor Varnix of the Grentari. "Humans treat danger as a game." "We cannot deny the results," countered Counselor Tilvar of the Ilverin. "Their creativity knows no bounds, even if their methods terrify us." Ultimately, the Assembly issued a formal directive. Any human uttering the phrase, "hold my beer," in a public setting would trigger a Level 10 alert, requiring immediate evacuation and disaster response protocols. Legacy of the Bake-Off. Despite the controversy, O'Hara's victory became a defining moment in galactic culture. The Galactic Inferno was added to the Culinary Hall of Fame, and Ignis fruit became a sought-after ingredient among thrill-seeking chefs. O'Hara himself became a celebrity, touring the galaxy to showcase his daring techniques. When asked about the incident during a Holovision interview, he shrugged. "Cooking is about passion," he said. "Sometimes that passion burns a little too hot." The bake-off would never be the same. Future competitions adopted stricter safety measures, but the memory of O'Hara's fiery masterpiece lived on. For humanity, the incident was another reminder that their unique blend of audacity and ingenuity could reshape the galaxy, one chaotic act at a time. And for the rest of the galaxy, the lesson was clear. When a human said, "hold my beer," it was best to stand back and prepare for the unexpected.